So there's 3 of them.
It's only 18 and 19 that have the choice. The other one's a design. It's not a rezoning. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Today's Wednesday, September 25th. Time is 6:30 p.m. And I'm calling this meeting of the Macomb Township Board of Trustees to order. I'm going to now say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk Posey, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Trustee Cusimano?
Here.
Trustee Lucido?
Here.
Trustee Oliver?
Here.
Trustee Nevers?
Present.
Treasurer Drollet?
Here.
Clerk Posey here. Supervisor Vivian?
Here.
All members are present.
Moving on to approval of the agenda. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections? If there are none, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Motion by Treasurer Drollet, supported by Clerk Posey to approve the agenda. Members, please vote.
Can you read it from there, Frank? Read it.
There.
Motion passes unanimously. Yes, I
There,
can see it.
just
from
came up.
There it
Finally
goes.
appeared.
It's gonna be one of those nights. All right, moving on to approval of the bills. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve?
Support.
Any questions or discussion on the bill run? Hearing none, motion by Treasurer Drollet, supported by Trustee Nevers to approve the bills. Members, please vote. You can just give me a thumbs up, Roger, if it pops up. Motion passes unanimously. Is there a motion to approve the meeting's minutes from September 11th, 2024?
So move.
Support.
Any questions or discussion on the previous meeting's minutes? Motion by Treasurer Drollet, supported by Trustee Lucido to approve the previous meeting's minutes. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. All right, this will take us to public comment. This is our first public comment of the evening, and this is for agenda items only. So if you have any comments to make on any of the agenda items, please make your way to the microphone on the right-hand side of the room. And I do not see anyone, so we're going to move on to the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move the consent agenda in its entirety.
Support.
Is there any questions or discussion on the consent agenda items? Hearing none, motion by Treasurer Drollet, supported by Clerk Posey, to approve the consent agenda. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. All right, this is going to take us to our first of 3 public hearings. And before I open these public hearings, Mr. Van Tiffelen, will you give us some background?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, board members. These 3 developments are brand new. They've gotten to the point in construction where they're ready to make the deposit and have the streetlights installed. As the board's aware, we need to have a public hearing in order to set up the special assessment district that's necessary for us to pay DTE the money for the lights, for maintaining the lights, and for the electricity, as well as collect the money from the residents to pay that bill.
All right, thank you, Mr. Van Tiffelen. So I'm going to call each of these public hearings in order. So the first one is for the Special Assessment District for Ball Sites condominiums. And I'm going to open the public hearing at 6:34 p.m. If there's anyone who wishes to make public comment on this Special Assessment District, they may do so now at the microphone. And I don't see anybody making a move. So I will close this public hearing. This is at 6:34 p.m. And the next one, I'm going to open the next public hearing. This one is for the Special Assessment District at Corona Park Site Condominiums. Time is 6:35 p.m. And this public hearing is now open. Someone who wishes to make public comment on the Corona Park Site Condominiums SAD may do so now. Nobody making a move to the microphone, so I'm going to close this public hearing also at 6:35 p.m. So, and our last of the three Special Assessment District public hearings, this one is for Villa Toscana site condos. And I'm going to open this public hearing also at 6:35 p.m. Moving quickly. And I don't see anyone making a move to the microphone. So I will close this special hearing. This public hearing. Time is, oh, good, ticked over, 6:36 p.m. All right, that will take us to, we're going to have three resolutions on these three items. I'm going to ask Mr. Van Tiffelen to give us background on all three before we call the roll. Mr. Van Tiffelen, will you do that now, and then I'll ask for a motion.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, board members, these are the resolutions that are necessary to actually set up the special assessment district. The developer owns all of the lots within the development, and we are recommending approval.
All right.
I make the motion to adopt the resolution for street lighting special assessment district for Ball Site Condominium.
Thank you.
Support.
Any questions or discussion? Motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Lucido to adopt the resolution for the SAD for Ball Site Condominiums. Clerk Posey, will you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Treasurer Drollet?
Yes.
Trustee Lucido?
Yes.
Trustee Kuzimano?
Yes.
Trustee Oliver?
Yes.
Trustee Nevers?
Yes.
Clerk Posey, yes. Supervisor Viviano?
Yes, that resolution is adopted.
Mr. Chair, I request to adopt the resolution for street lighting special assessment district for Cortona Park Site Condominiums.
Support.
Motion.
Mr. Van Tiffelen, anything to add to this? The same as the other?
Same thing as the
Okay.
last one.
Any questions or discussion? Motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Oliver, to adopt the resolution for the SAD for the Cortona Park Site Condominiums. Clerk Posey, will you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Treasurer Drollet?
Yes.
Trustee Oliver?
Yes.
Trustee Kuzimano?
Yes.
Trustee Lucido?
Yes.
Trustee Nevers?
Yes.
Clerk Posey, yes. Supervisor Viviano?
Yes, that resolution is adopted.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to adopt the resolution for street lighting special assessment district for Villa Toscana Site Condominiums.
Trustee Kuzma supports the motion.
So this is the same as the other two. Is there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Kuzmano, to adopt the street lighting SAD for Villa Toscana Site Condominiums. Clerk Posey, will you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor. Treasurer Drollet?
Yes.
Trustee Kuzimano?
Yes.
Trustee Lucido?
Yes.
Trustee Oliver?
Yes.
Trustee Nevers?
Yes.
Clerk Posey, yes. Supervisor Viviano?
Yes, that resolution is also adopted. All right, this will take us to item 14. This is a request to award the contract for the McBride Drain Pedestrian Bridge Project in the amount of $775,539.82.
So move.
Support.
Mr. Van Tiffelen.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, board members. On September 10th, the township received proposals from contractors for the McBride pedestrian bridge crossing. This is the drain crossing that is on the west side of Card Road, just south of 23 Mile, adjacent to the Bashimi's property, if everybody's familiar with that area. We received 4 proposals from contractors. A review committee of Kevin Ostrowski, who is the design engineer, Crystal Kozak, and myself reviewed the proposals. The highest scoring contractor is Z Contractors. We are very familiar with their work. They were the ones that installed the 2 bridges that are in front of Waldenburg Park on 21 Mile that go across the river. We are very satisfied with their work. So we are happy to be recommending Z Contractors for this project. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Van Tiffelen. Any questions or discussion?
Mr. Chair, if I
Yes.
may, through you to Mr. Van Tiffelen, what percent of this, or what amount of this cost will be on the township versus the any of the property owners, or is there any county participation? Or
There's no county participation, but the township does have a cost share agreement with the Buscemi's developer. Roughly $270,000 will be given to the township as part of that project. There are certain milestones that they have to make payments to the township, but it'll cut the cost of the project roughly by a third.
thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Trustee or Treasurer Gillette. Anyone else? Questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none. Motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Lucido, to award the McBride Drain Pedestrian Bridge Project to Z Contractors in the amount of $775,539.82. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next item is a request to adopt revised engineering standards.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Mr. Van Tifflin.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, board members, the engineering department has spent quite some time in the last few years trying to update our engineering standards. We've worked with our consultants. We've gathered some information internally as to best practices that are being used by other governmental agencies so that we can more modernize our standards. Also, basically do the things that we've been doing, but more formalize and organize the standards so that they're easier for our engineering consultants that develop plans and ask the township to review them. They'll have a better understanding of what we're asking for. Most of the changes are fairly minor. Most of the engineering world that submits to us already understands these. But there are a couple of things that I should highlight that we are changing with regard to our stormwater standards. Right now, the requirement for stormwater detention is 2 inches over the entire site, goes into a detention basin. That's being raised up to 0.2 of a foot, so roughly a 20% increase. Essentially what we're doing is going back to the way it was back in the 90s when it was changed to 2 inches. We're recognizing that we're having much more intense storm events that these detention basins will have to handle going forward. So when we're going to continue to monitor this, it might be something that we have to raise up again when we see the additional need for that. But this is where we're going to land now. We're also requiring pre-treatment for all the storm drainage that goes into detention basins. Part of the problem with maintaining a detention basin is the sediment that builds up in the bottom, especially with some of the other stuff that we're going to now allow developers to do. So these will be areas that will be set aside so that sediment can drop out before it actually affects the ability of the development to detain. We're also going to allow, we haven't in the past, but we're going to allow underground detention for what I'll call commercial type sites. So your single family subdivisions, site condominiums, they'll still have to have an open detention basin like the standard requires now. But the developers will have options for our commercial sites who have more professional means of handling the maintenance of these facilities. So we'll allow parking lot surface storage, oversized storm sewers on the site, and in your traditional underground detention, which has been something that has been requested by the development community for a while. We're just finding that there's a lot of smaller sites where there's just not enough room for an open detention basin, all the parking that's necessary, and make a viable development. And then the last thing is we're requiring a bit of a operation maintenance manual be prepared by the developer to be given over the landowners. This is very important for our subdivisions because anybody that owns a car knows they have an owner's manual with that car. Right now, these facilities, stormwater facilities, are being turned over to homeowners associations, and they have no idea how to maintain them. So what we're trying to do is put the burden on the developer and their engineer to come up with a specific manual for the homeowners association to be able to use in order to know when they're supposed to inspect, when they're supposed to clean things out, who they're supposed to contact when certain things happen, and when. So with that, the standards have been reviewed by legal counsel, the DPW, engineering, and we're excited to move forward with this, so we're recommending approval.
Thank you, Mr. Van Tifflin. Questions or discussion from the board? There's a lot of information in those revisions.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, so
Yes.
if you're requesting that the developer produce a manual. Are you going to review that before it gets passed on to make sure it meets all the requirements that you're looking for?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, it'll be, and we have a bit of that information already on the township's website, but it's very generic because it's meant for a broad audience. This will be more tailored to the specific, some detention basins have pump stations, while others don't. So there's a lot of things that go into maintaining a pump station that you might not have in another place. But yeah, those will be reviewed by us during engineering review to make sure that it covers everything. We'll also make them, reference them in their master deeds, in restrictions and covenants for the developments, so that any new person that comes into that development, when they close on their property, the title company will give them a copy of those documents. They'll know it's there. So a new homeowners association president takes over, they have that information available to them. We'll always have a copy of it here, so they can always come to us if they need it, but at least we've given them some tools.
Is that new requirement in the beginning stages of a checklist so that developers that have been developing here for a long time and haven't had to do that now know in the beginning that's something that's required so that it's not delaying their process?
Yeah, we're in the process of updating the checklist that goes along with the engineering plan review, and that will be one of the items that will be on there.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Just to
Go ahead, Charlie.
Mr. Van Tippelen, could you give the board and the public just a quick reference to where an underground water storage would be for storm storage? Generally, where will it get used?
So your what I'll call commercial type sites. So your shopping plazas, your gas stations, car washes, apartment complexes, any development that would have a professional, professional organization owns the property. They are used to maintaining properties, but essentially what it would look like is large pipes sitting underground that are connected to the storm sewer system. And as the water hits that system and the outlet can't handle it, it will back up into this system just like it would in an open detention basin. It's just that, it's underground and you can't see it. That's part of the issue with having a homeowners association and a subdivision try and maintain these things. They got a much better shot at maintaining something that they can physically see if they walk out there versus having to crawl down in a hole and look at something below ground.
And maintenance will be a big part, I would imagine, with them storage tanks or
Yes.
cavities underground.
For sure. Sediment builds up inside will take away that ability to detain the what I'll call the storm event that it's designed to handle. In an open detention basin, it's obvious when you walk out there and you see water that's breaking the surface of the water in the basin, you know that it needs to be cleaned out. In an underground system, somebody has to physically go down there and look at what's going on. So that's why we're making them put in these pretreatment facilities so we can separate that sediment from the water that's going in there. So hopefully we got a better shot at keeping that sediment from getting in there and taking away that storage volume.
So what you're saying, there's gonna be like a pre-clean
Yes.
for the sediment on the
Yeah.
hard surface.
These things kind of work like a tornado for water, and the middle of it settles it out, and the clean water goes out the outlet pipe into the detention area.
Good. Well, I could say there won't be no weeds growing in them, so that's one good thing, so,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Anyone else? Okay, hearing no more comment. Motion by Clerk Posey, supported by Treasurer Gillette, to adopt the revised engineering standards. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. This will take us to item 16. This is a request to approve the resolution of commitment and support for the 21 Mile Road and Heindrich Road intersection improvement project.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Van Tiffelen.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, board members. As the board's aware, the township recently received $3 million from Senator Kleinfeld for the improvement of the intersection of 21 and Heidenreich. The township is working with the county at this point to try and expand the scope of that work by applying for some federal funds through the TIP program, which is how we got 23 Mile Road widened, for example. So the scope of the project has expanded a bit. So in addition to improving the intersection at 21 Mile Road. The project will now include basically the resurfacing of Heidenreich from Hall Road all the way up to 22 Mile, as well as from Romeo Plank over to Heidenreich. There'll be additional left turn lanes, both east towards the main entrance into Dakota, as well as the entrance into the entire school complex off of Heidenreich, and then another half mile up to the half mile, as well as right turn lanes at the intersections, new lights at the entrance to the schools, as well as the intersection. So the intersection in that area will have brand new pavement within a mile of the intersection and will operate a lot better than it has up to this point. So like the Hayes Road project that the board approved a resolution for at the last meeting, we need a resolution for this particular project so that we can complete the application this Friday and submit it to the county for consideration for federal funding. So we've worked with the county on the resolution, and we're recommending approval.
Thank you, Mr. Van Tiffel. Any questions or discussion?
For clarification,
Yeah.
for Mr. Chair, through you to Mr. Van Tiffin. So we've already been approved from the state for the $3 million through Senator Kleinfeld. What we're hoping to do with this is to expand the scope of that by bringing down some federal funds, but we won't know that. We won't know if that ends up being expanded. The scope gets expanded for potentially how long?
We'll have an answer probably by November is when the meetings are going to happen. The scoring is happening in October on these projects. I can tell you that the phase 1 scoring for this particular project, we were one of the highest scoring projects. So I feel pretty confident that, this is something that we're going to be able to get funding for. Now, whether we get the full funding that we're asking for, that's to be decided yet. And we can always adjust the scope if we need to. I have in there that the township's contribution would, over and above the $3 million, would be roughly $280,000, just under that. But we'll see as the project goes farther along and how construction costs are going. But what's good about this is that basically every level of government is contributing towards this project. The township, the county, the state, and the federal government, if we're successful. So it's really a group effort.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Motion by Treasurer Drillette, supported by Clerk Posey, to approve the resolution of commitment support of the 21 Mile Road and Heinrich Road intersection improvement project. Clerk Posey, we call the roll.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Treasurer Drollet.
Yes.
Clerk Posey, yes. Trustee Cusimano.
Yes.
Trustee Lucido.
Yes.
Trustee Oliver.
Yes.
Trustee Nevers.
yes,
And Supervisor Viviano.
Yes, that resolution is adopted. All right, moving on to item 17. Request authorization to extend an offer of employment for a part-time firefighter.
So move.
Support. Chief?
Mr. Supervisor, members of the board, as you're aware, the township is continuously recruiting for the position of part-time firefighter. Human Resource Department received 14 applications for the position and therefore invited qualified applicants for a written test that was held on August 14th. Candidates passing the written test were scheduled for the agility test, which was held on August 29th at Fire Station 3. Candidates that successfully passed the agility test were interviewed by the selection committee on September 12th and September 16th. The selection committee, consisting of myself, Deputy Chief Monroe, and HR Director Jeff Tabaka, are recommending Vincent Taccone for hire. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions or discussion? All right, hearing none. Motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Lucido to extend an offer of employment to Mr. Vincent Taccone for the position of part-time firefighter. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. That's fine. Next item.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to deny the conditional rezoning from residential one-family urban R1 to residential multifamily low-density R-2-L for the North Avenue condominiums, permanent parcel number 0835276003 and 0835276004, located on the west side of North Avenue, south of 21 Mile Road.
Second.
Mr. Box.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Board. As the Treasurer Drollet just mentioned, this is located on North Avenue. They are applying for a conditional rezoning, which would mean they're trying to rezone it to something other than what the master plan indicates. And in doing so, they're trying to get 42 multiple family units on a property that's intended to be single family use. The conditions that they put forward were largely the benefit that they were trying to offer us was some of the riverfront property, but the ordinance would be giving lots of concessions to allow this to happen in addition to many, many units next to single-family homes that already exist. Staff did review this, and we are not in support of it, and the Planning Commission voted unanimously to recommend denial to the board.
Thank you, Mr. Box. Any questions or discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yep.
it's a motion to deny, so a yes means no to the rezoning.
That is correct.
Thank you.
If there's no more other questions, motion by Treasurer Drollet, supported by Clerk Posey, to deny conditional rezoning from residential one-family urban to residential multiple family low density for the North Avenue condominiums, permanent parcels 08352760003 and 004. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. That request for a conditional rezoning is denied.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to request that we approve the rezoning from residential one-family urban R1 and agricultural AG to residential multiple-family low-density R2L parcels 08-15-200-016 and 08-15-200-017 and 08-15-200-009 located in the southwest corner of 24 Mile Road and Card Road.
Support.
Do you need a minute to catch your breath?
I'm fine.
Okay. Mr. Box.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Board. This property is located at Card Road and 24 Mile. It is master planned for multiple family, which would reflect a similar style to what's across Card Road at the current location of
The Hartford.
the Hartford. And like I said, it matches the master plan. Staff is in support of this. Planning Commission recommended unanimously to recommend this for approval.
Thank you, Mr. Box. Any questions or discussion? So just a reminder, motion is for an approval, so a yes is a yes on the rezoning. There's no questions or discussion. Motion by Treasurer Drollet, supported by Trustee Nevers, to approve the rezoning from residential one-family urban and agricultural to residential multiple family low density on permanent parcels 0815200016, 017, and 0815200009. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. That rezoning request is approved. This will take us to item 20. There's a request to approve a PUD general design plan for a filling station and retail center located in the southwest corner of 23 Mile and North Avenue. Permanent parcels 0823226015.
So move.
Support.
Mr. Box.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Board. I think we're all familiar with 23 Mile and North Avenue. There is a gas station on the southwest corner that has recently closed down. There is a plan in place to redevelop that site with a new gas station as well as a small commercial plaza. There was actually a PUD approved in, I believe it was 2018. However, as they're now getting close with their engineering and getting ready to get started with construction, it became evident that when it was approved in 2018, the PUD didn't include a PUD agreement. So the applicant was asked to go back through the process and include an agreement this time, and that's what this is. So in sorts, we're cleaning up something that was missed a number of years ago. Staff is in support of this, and Planning Commission recommended approval.
Thank you, Mr. Box. Any questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none. Motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Oliver. To approve the PUD general design plan for a filling station and a retail center on permanent parcels 0823226-015. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Item 21, this is a request for an extension of time for the preliminary plan for Wellington West. And this is near 24 and Romeo Plank, permanent parcel 0816100023.
So move.
Support. Mr. Box.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Board. This is a single-family development that was approved a couple years ago. At this time, they are seeking a 1-year extension. They do have the option to request a 1 or 2 year. They're confident that 1 year is all that they will need to get started on their development. Staff has reviewed this and is in support, and Planning Commission recommended approval as well.
Okay, any questions or discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
did they indicate any reason why that the extension is necessary?
I believe the letter was in your packet. I think they're still working on some permits from Eagle, a water main permit from Eagle.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. Was
Sure.
it unanimous at the planning commission?
Yes, it was.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none. Motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Lucido, to approve the extension of time for a preliminary plan for Wellington West. This is 24 in Romeo Plank, permanent parcel 0816100023. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. All right, let's take us item 22 is a request to purchase fire hose from W.S. Darling and Company in the amount of $57,007.56.
So move.
Support. Chief.
Mr. Supervisor, members of the board, I'm requesting your approval this evening to purchase fire hose from W.S. Darley and Company. The majority of the hose will be used to outfit the 2 new fire engines that are currently in production. Remainder of the hose will replace hose that has reached its end of life or to replace the hose that did not pass hose testing that was completed in August. The purchase of the hose was included in the current fire improvement budget. Pricing was obtained utilizing a Sourcewell contract awarded to W.S. Darley and Company, and I included the confirmation of process memo from the purchasing department. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. Motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Lucido, to approve the purchase of the fire hose from W.S. Darling and Company in the amount of $57,007.56. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. This will take us to our last item of the evening. This is a request to adopt the hard cap cost share model resolution as set forth in the Public Funded Health Insurance Contribution Act as presented.
So move.
Support. So, as most of the board may recall, over the past few years, this board has taken the position that we would adopt the hard cap model as a commitment to our fiscal responsibility for this township and ensure that healthcare costs are kept under a reasonable measure of control. Hard cap went up only slightly from the previous year, and that formula is dictated by the state. However, I still think we offer a very robust healthcare plan to the employees. That, just for the record, the healthcare plan numbers should be coming out soon, and they'll be brought to the board for approval, hopefully in the next couple of meetings. With that, I'll take any other questions.
So we're not acting on it.
This is just for the hard cap, and then the premiums and the plan
That's coming later.
coming later, yeah. They're working on it now. If there's no more questions, motion by Trustee Oliver, supported by Trustee Lucido, to adopt the hard capped cost share model resolution as set forth in the
I
public.
think I made the
Treasurer
motion.
Drollet motion.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wrote down the wrong one. Try that again. Motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Lucido, to adopt the hard cap cost share model resolution as set forth in Publicly Funded Healthcare Insurance Contribution Act as presented. Clerk Posey, will you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Treasurer Drollet.
Yes.
Trustee Lucido.
Yes.
Trustee Kuzma.
Yes.
Trustee Oliver.
Yes.
Trustee Nevers.
Yes.
Clerk Posey, yes.
Yes.
Supervisor Vivian.
Yes, that resolution is adopted. Oops. Thank you. Got to click the button. Okay, this will take us to our second public comment. This is for non-agenda items. Anyone who wishes to make a public comment may do so now. Nope, nobody's making a move, so we're going to move to board comments. Trustee Lucido.
Just quickly congratulate Vincent Tacconi, a new firefighter. Welcome aboard, and we appreciate your service. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Nevers.
I too would like to welcome aboard the new firefighter. And that's all I have to say for this evening.
Thank you, Trustee Nevers. Trustee Oliver.
Couple quick things. Congratulations to our new firefighter, Vincent, his promotion. And the other thing, I don't know if the board noticed, Garfield's open. It took a long time.
Years.
25 years, maybe. Yeah.
Yay.
And then the other thing is these lights are so nice and bright. Everyone looks so cheery tonight. And that's it.
And paid for with a grant.
There you go.
All right. Trustee Kuzma.
No comment tonight.
Treasurer Drollet.
So echo the congratulations for our new part-time firefighter and I share the enthusiasm for Garfield Road finally opening. That's all.
Clerk Posey.
Thank you. Congratulations to Mr. Tacconi. Welcome to the fire department. We're happy to have you. Great news for voters that requested an absent voter ballot. Your ballot will be delivered to the post office tomorrow. We were uncertain if that deadline would be met due to a litigation delay, but we will have your ballots to the post office tomorrow. If you do not receive your ballot by the second week of October, please contact the clerk's office. I want to personally thank everyone who assisted us and prepped 19,051 ballots for mailing in 3 days. We prepped ballots for our overseas military voters in countries like Italy, Switzerland, Taiwan, and Germany. And if you wish to receive a ballot by mail or have questions regarding your options for voting, please visit mtvoter.org or contact the clerk's office. We're here to help you and happy to assist. That's all I have.
Thank you, Clerk Posey. I want to echo the congratulations for firefighter Tacconi. We're glad to have you. Our recruiting efforts are ongoing, so please keep the word out that we are looking for qualified part-time firefighters to help with our public safety. That's really all I got. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Support.
Any questions or discussion? Motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Nevers to adjourn the meeting. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. This meeting is adjourned.
Just throw mine out.